Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the live stream. It's just me and Isaac today. We're going to talk about Padres baseball and everything. So, the last two games went really well after that first game, which we can all admit was not good. It was not fun to watch. It looked like they were going to come back for a little bit, and then Craig Stammen and Tim Hill struck again. That was a tough game to swallow, but the next two games, they really came back, 7-0 and a 13-2. Everything you could want Padres game. More importantly, it looks like Cronenworth is officially back. I mean, yesterday was amazing. He had, two doubles for an RBI and then the 3-run shot. Profar's been hitting consistently. It's just every kind of going good with the Padres hitting wise. I mean, Grisham is still a little inconsistent, but he's starting to swing the bat. Mazar has been hitting. Profar has been hitting. Haven't really seen Hosmer in the lineup, which is kind of nice because he's been hitting like 100 in his last 15 games, but
yeah,
it's looked good.
Dude, it's actually really weird. I was wondering yesterday why sorry, I'm pulling up the stats. I was wondering yesterday why his ass why he wasn't in the lineup. It was actually really weird because he just had a day off like 2 days ago, so I was like, why isn't Hosmer in the lineup? Of course, I don't really care. I mean, obviously the lineup was really good. Without him, so that was pretty awesome, but man, this team's starting to hit. I pulled up Jake Cronenworth's stats. You see him last 15 games, 271 batting average with, it looks like, almost a 900 OPS. His last 7 games hitting 333 with well over an 1100 OPS. So he's absolutely having a breakout in a major way. And what a good time for the Padres considering, everyone's starting to click at the right time finally. Everyone is starting to click. It's not just one or two guys. It's Jake Cronenworth, it's Trent Grisham, Luke Voigt, Manny. Yeah, he's a little cold, but Manny's gonna come around. That's like the 9th biggest warrior in our lineup. Then you got a couple other guys, Jerks and Profile. Like everybody's contributing on the offensive side right now. You got Trent Grisham, who in his last 7 games batting 304 with a 842 OPS. Like he's fantastic right now. Also, so everybody's starting to come around, man. It's really nice to see. Chase, I guess the thing I wanted to ask you is, there was a tough 10-game stretch where the Padres had to play the Cardinals, the Brewers, and the Mets. We all knew how hard it was going to be. We were all going to be happy taking 4 or 5. Got swept by the Cardinals, looked very low, but then we took 5 of the next, 5 of the next 7 from both the Brewers and the Mets. How do you feel after that 10-game stretch? Were the Brewers missing a couple guys? Yes. Were the Mets missing a couple guys? Yes. So are we. How do you feel about it?
I think, coming out of that Mets series, it was the greatest thing that it could be. I know a couple Mets fan was talking crap in the comments, and they're gonna be the Padres after the Mets swept us, and yeah, we lost the first game badly, but they came back and they shut down the Mets. I mean, sure, they're missing a couple guys, but we don't have our catalyst. Jake was hitting. Our outfield was actually hitting. I was going to bring up Profar right now. In his last 30 games, he's hitting 317 with a 387 on base and a 447 slugging in his last 30 games, which is phenomenal. I mean, our pitching came out and did what it needed to do. Manaea was great again. Who pitched? Darvish was great outside of, he hit a couple people, but that was fine. He limited the damage, didn't get earned runs. It was good. Our pitching's where it needs to be, and our bats are finally coming alive. Voigt's been hitting. Cronenworth is back. Like we said, it's just the bats are alive. They're getting hot at the right moment, and they were getting hot against good teams, which wasn't there for the Cardinals series, yes, but the Brewers and Mets are still no jokes. They're still one of the better teams in the National League. As long as they continue to do this, especially when Tatis comes back, which we should get news next week. They had pushed back his X-rays to, I believe, the beginning of next week, so probably Monday or Tuesday. We'll see if he's ready to swing a bat or not. But right around the corner, he's coming back, and the offense seems fine without him. Just imagine it with him in there. It's a good time to be a Padres fan right now.
Oh, hell yeah. And you look at the lineup, and, I'm going to go back to my question and answer my own. You look at it, yeah, did they get swept by the Cardinals? Yeah. At the same time, I'm pretty sure the Dodgers got swept by the Pirates. Teams are going to get swept by bad teams, by good teams, whatever it is. You're going to suffer those 4-game losing streaks. I mean, you look at the Angels, they're on a 14-game losing streak. It's just going to happen, especially to a good team like the Cardinals, where we didn't have our best guys going really outside of Darvish. But nonetheless, yes, we lost that series to Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. I wouldn't even necessarily say the whole Cardinals lineup. Tommy Edman contributed, but they were fantastic that series. And then you look at it, you lose a heartbreaker to the Brewers, and honestly, you start to think, are they going to bounce back? That was a really tough loss. This was really hard 4-game stretch. And nonetheless, they bounce back and win 3 in a row against the Brewers, lose 1 to the Mets, and just absolutely demolish them the next 2 games. And you look at it from a pitching standpoint, yes. And this is who we're going to talk about next. I think we should talk about Blake Snell. Blake Snell went out there and struggled. A lot of people were starting to call for him to be traded. I want to say Chase and I are both on the same boat. Like, people have bad innings, man, especially Blake Snell. Blake Snell's bound to have those bad innings. Does it suck? Yes. But also when he's on, Blake Snell's pretty fantastic. And then you look at the rest of it. Yu Darvish goes almost 6 innings, no hits. Sean Manaea looks fantastic again with only 1 earned run, provided a quality start essentially every start. And that's kind of the routine for the pitching staff right now. But back to Blake Snell. Chase, what do you think of Blake Snell?
It's what, his 3rd start back, 4th start?
Fourth.
Yeah, normally I would tear him to shreds, saying, you can't have 43 pitches in the first inning and call yourself that is bad. Normally pitchers only go 90 to 100 pitches in a game. There are exceptions, you make with, okay, this guy's going a complete game or he's got a shutout, no hitter. There are exceptions, but most of the time you get around 90 to 105. You get pulled instantly. You were already almost halfway there in the first inning. You can't do that. I know sometimes he has trouble putting guys away. He has a tendency to walk. He has a tendency to go 0-2 and then lose the guy because he's not putting guys away. He's not providing himself with competitive pitches that, either will get the guy to swing and miss or induce weak contact. And we didn't see that. The first inning went really rough for him. I know he had a few guys 0-2 and then he walked. It's Blake Snell. He's going to have those games. We saw it last year. He was pretty susceptible to it. But once he gets into his groove, I'll assume maybe another 3 starts, once he gets into his groove of where he was last year, he's going to be one of the rocks of this rotation. It's going to be inevitable. We're going to need him in the big games, against the Dodgers, against the higher quality teams where he shines the brightest. Yes, he might struggle a little bit on the way there, but guaranteed, when in a big game, he's going to shine brighter than anyone else in this rotation.
And you look at it from like a All-Star break or, pre-All-Star break, post-All-Star break standpoint, he's actually a lot better post-All-Star break. I believe he has above a 3.5 ERA before the All-Star break. After, I think it's a 2.83 or 2.93. So we're not that far from the All-Star break. It's not that long until we see the Blake Snell that we fully expect to see. And that's when that's when we need him most, towards the back end of the season when we need to win all those games. I mean, last season after the All-Star break was horrendous, and I know for a fact we don't want to have that again. And keeping around Blake Snell is going to be one of the big reasons that doesn't happen again. Also, the rest of the pitching, we still have a lot of pitching after Blake Snell, and I understand who's the one guy that everyone wants to trade if a pitcher were to be traded. Everyone wants to trade Blake Snell. I get it. Personally, that's not my choice, but he's susceptible to these bad starts, man. Right now, he's having trouble locating his changeup and his curveball, but he's going to come around. I really feel like he's going to come around. And somebody asked right here, do you guys think Cronenworth is just hot right now, or he's back to the regular hitting that we were seeing last season? Chase, what do you think?
Oh, he's 100% back. I mean, we saw glimpses of him getting hot. I remember there was a couple hits in the Giants series early on where it looked like he was finally coming back. He was starting to hit the ball well. He's starting to hit the ball with power now. Like, he's had 3 home runs in his last 15 games. The doubles are looking good. He's looked like he's just really comfortable at the plate. He's driving the ball where it needs to be. He's hitting the gaps. He's squaring it up more often than he was. He's not striking out as much. He's walking more. He's seeing the ball a lot better. I think he's like legitimately back. We talked about it in an episode a few days ago where, Matt was saying that he heard that apparently Cronenworth was like, I'm almost there. I'm almost back to his to himself in the dugout the last couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This last series proves it. He's definitely back. He might go through another slump again. Just Cronenworth has a tendency to go through slumps, but who doesn't?
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, I fully think he's back. I fully expected him to come back sooner rather than later. Did it take a little bit? Yes, unfortunately. That sucks, but also we were still winning. Crone is essentially a top 3, top 4 bat in our lineup whenever he's hitting the way that we know he can. He's fantastic on the field. He's fantastic at the plate. The thing with Jake Cronenworth was, in my opinion, there was nothing wrong with him. I really don't feel like there was anything wrong. It was just a matter of hitting the ball hard and finding some luck, finding the holes, because I feel like it was the same Cronenworth, same plate approach, same stance, same everything that he had the past couple of seasons. It was just a matter of finally getting the ball in play. We saw not that long ago his strikeout rate was a little above 30%. Now it's back to, it was at 22% last time I checked. Right now it's back down to 21, so it went down another percentage. He's fantastic right now, man. He's absolutely had himself a great series, against the Brewers, and I fully expect him to keep it up. There's a lot more evidence that he is a great baseball player than there is that he's the ball player that we saw the first 60, 70 games, whatever it was. So, yeah, man, I think Jerry Cronenworth is fully back.
There's one guy that hasn't been mentioned yet. I'm surprised the comments haven't brought him up. Adrian Morejon looked amazing in that outing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little concerned because I believe Bob Melvin had made a comment. I haven't seen it in the interview because I think it was coming out on like one of the talk shows after the game, that Bob Melvin had said that he's a starter that's getting stretched out, that he play a hybrid role, make a couple spot starts or go prolonged innings. What do you think about that? I know I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'll get into it a little bit later. So what do you think?
Man, I don't want it, and I understand it. I fully understand it. I really do think he would project to be a great starter. But when you look at what's best for this team, especially this year and maybe even next, considering if we sign 2 of the guys back, he's going to be essential for our bullpen, because if he really does want to extend him, he can throw those 2 or 3 innings in kind of a long relief role. And if not, then he can have that dominant 1 inning role. I don't get what's so wrong with having him in the bullpen for a little bit, considering you already have 7 starters. I really don't think you need another one. I mean, is the depth amazing? Is having more depth amazing? Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it's internal depth and somebody that more home kind of be looking a little like Isaac. I think with my hat off, it wouldn't look like that. But when you realize Morihone kind of needs an innings limit, because his arm's definitely not what we think it is in terms of strength and how often he gets injured and his how many innings he's thrown in the past. Do you really want to extend him that much? I would say the answer is no. We already kind of saw it with the Nelson Lamet. The Nelson Lamet had two injuries already. We don't want that to happen again. So I think for right now, you got to keep in the bullpen. If you want to extend him later, yeah, go for it. But right now, the bullpen's going to be. He is essentially very needed in the bullpen. Also, I will say that.
Yeah, like I'm not the most comfortable with it, but if the Padres wanted to explore it, they could go the way that the Dodgers did with Julio Urias, which the first 3-4 years of his career, he was basically a bullpen guy. He would come in, maybe make a spot start, throw 3-4 innings, and then it really wasn't until a couple of years ago that he really got stretched out to be a full starter, and that was in the 60-game season. And then even last year, he had his ups and downs. He didn't always, go out and throw things, but he did end up becoming one of the better arms in the MLB. I just don't think, especially with Morejon in his track record, because if you looked at him, if you looked at his minor career, it was about every 60, maybe pushing it 70 innings, he would have a shoulder injury and he would be shut down for a period of time. Yeah. Unfortunately, last year it was the elbow and it was Tommy John. And that was at the beginning of the season. That was not even the 60 games that he's usually getting to. So I'm not comfortable with it. Like I said, I think he's going to be our Josh Hader out of the pen. We really need it. Going along with the bullpen, I was really surprised Jose Castillo was not the first one called up. When we heard Suarez got hurt, we were like, okay, they're going to call up Castillo, and it was just straight Morejon. from all the reports we've read, it was like Motorhone's not going to be back until after the All-Star break. So really surprised. But going on top of Castillo here, when he's going to be back?
Shoot, man. I don't know. I really thought he would get called up. I already thought he'd be up already. I really thought he'd be pitching for the Padres already. It was like June 6th was his timetable, or was when he was early or when he was eligible to come back. And he's not back, and he's been pitching a lot of innings, I feel like, in the minors. So I'm kind of confused on why he's not up, but hopefully we see him in the next week or two. I mean, do you think it might take an injury to someone for him to come up, or do you think they'll just do it? Because I think it might take an injury.
As much as I want to say it might take an injury, at the same time, when you have guys like Craig Stammen and Tim Hill underperforming, you need some sort of reinforcement in there. Luis Casilla has been great as of lately, but we know sometimes it's a little road bump. We've seen Rogers be getting used a lot. You kind of just need another guy to come in, a fresh arm that can be a high leverage guy. That's exactly what Jose Castillo is. I don't know why he hasn't come up yet. I don't know if they're waiting to see what happens with Pierce Johnson. If he ends up going down, he might just take his spot and another guy goes down. But it's going to be weird. We're going to have a lot of guys and a lot of people fighting for a bullpen spot when there's just not a room. We saw Michelle Baez. He finally got taken off the 60-day IL and put on the 40-man roster. Don't know where he's going to fit into this. It's just there's a lot of guys fighting for a bullpen spot, and there's just going to be too many cooks in the kitchen.
That was kind of cool what you said at the end. I hadn't heard that. I like it. I was going to comment on this comment right here about the Padres and their offense, and I wanted to do a little bit of research regarding that. So right now you got the Padres 11th in runs. They're 8th in the NL in runs. A lot of NL teams in the top 10, kind of surprising because you see it across the league. It's like actually, the AL's not even that stacked, bro. It's like 5 teams, maybe. It's actually the NL that's very stacked. And let me see, in home runs. I mean, I know the Padres are pretty low in home runs, I would assume. Padres are 26th right now in home runs. You look at average. Sorry if these numbers take a little bit to pop up. You look at average. The Padres are definitely down here. Also 20th OPS. The Padres are, let's see, are 23rd. I mean, the numbers aren't necessarily there exactly, but dude, they're scoring a lot of runs. I mean, I'm sure if I was to look at their on base percentage, and I really hope I'm not wrong because that would look dumb. They're 15th, so they're right there in on base percentage. They're right smack in the middle. So yeah, they're kind of a league average offense, and especially I think these past couple games they're kind of proven to be they're playing like a top tier offense for sure. That's without Fernando. That's without Will Myers. So they're definitely putting up numbers on the scoreboard. Like I said, 11th in runs. So that's really good. That's something that's kind of where the Padres have been around that range throughout the whole season, from 8th to 11th. So that's essentially where we want to see them without two of their biggest hitters. And I'm really glad that they're in that spot. Let's see what other questions there are.
I got one for you.
Yeah, go for it.
What do you want to do with Steven Wilson? He's currently on the roster right now. I don't think he's pitched in a minute, but he's kind of been struggling.
Yeah, it's really hard. I don't want him on the roster. You look at the bullpen, it's like, dude, we just have nothing but crappy righties, right? I mean, who's a good righty in the bullpen right now? There was Suarez. Garcia's okay. Actually, Garcia's pretty good.
Matt.
Suarez is actually pitching pretty good lately. Chris Matt, I love Chris Matt. So I guess you can say you need the righty arm, but at the same time, it's not a very high. It's not even a mid-tier arm. It's really a low-tier arm if you ask me, because yeah, he started off really well, but I think lately he's kind of been bad, I think you can say. And I think Jose Castillo would obviously provide an immense upgrade over him, even if it's just a lefty arm. It's a very high talent, high caliber lefty arm from what we've seen in the past. His strikeout numbers are absurd. So hopefully we're able to see him soon. I mean, I just don't think Wilson is. I think he's got potential. I think his fastball is great. I think some of his pitches are great. It's just a matter of, he needs more time. He definitely needs more time, I think.
I agree with you too. I think he needs to go down back to AAA, and he just needs reps. He needs reps to work on his location, to work on his slider, because he has a little bit of inconsistency to his game, and he usually is really aggressive with his fastball, but that's also where he tends to get hurt because he just goes out there and he goes, "I can throw past you," but then he ends up leaking it down the middle of the plate and gets hurt.
Yeah,
and he gets hurt from it. Do we want to add another lefty though? I mean, because then we only have Chris Matt and Suarez as our two righties from the bullpen. Well, we technically have Martinez, but he's probably more of a piggyback guy. And so then you have two righties and a bunch of lefties. And so then that you go, okay, well, if we want another right, Michelle Baez or Jose Castillo, you probably pick Jose Castillo at that point, but then it's just another lefty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's one of the problems we're gonna come down to. We're gonna end up probably buying another right-handed reliever towards the deadline. I don't know any names at this point. I think our bullpen is fine, especially when Suarez comes back. It also really does depend on Pierce Johnson and how he comes back from that forearm strain. Forearm strains for pitchers I don't know how to feel about them. We've seen Lamet try to come back from it. We've seen Castillo try to come back. Motorhone got one last year and then had Tommy John. It's just, yeah, it's one of those things that he could come back, but he could also end the year right now.
Yeah, he could come back, but he could come back for like 9 pitches. We don't know what's going to go on with him. I absolutely feel what you're saying there, Chase. And I mean, I really do think we are going to go for a bullpen arm. Even if we don't end up getting one, I think we're going to go for a righty because you look at the guys coming back. Jose Castillo, lefty. Adrian Morejon just came back, lefty. Then you look, Drew Pomeranz, lefty. Pierce Johnson, righty, but very scary injury. I think you really do need another high leverage, maybe not even high leverage. Maybe he could just be okay, like Luis Garcia type, another righty like that, where you don't have to go for it.
I just remember this because I was reading the article the other day and we commented on it. Rosenthal was throwing bullpen sessions for MLB teams because he's unsigned.
Don't get me started on Rosenthal. I love that guy. I love Rosie. I would love to bring him back, man. I think that'd be so sick. Yeah, that's an arm that you don't have to give up anything for. It's just a low risk arm. So that I love that idea, Chase. That was awesome. But I want to go back to Jose Castillo for those of you who don't know much about him. In 2018, he pitched 37 games, had a 3.29 ERA, 38 innings pitched, 12 walks. What was big was the 52 strikeouts, essentially 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. Very, 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 very impressive. That's essentially someone we need coming out of the bullpen, someone that doesn't get touched really, someone that has a lot of strikeouts. Because you look at it, Nabil, Chris Matt, can he strike people out? Yes, but not very often. Craig Stammen is like the king of not getting strikeouts. Taylor Rogers had a little bit of trouble getting some strikeouts. I think Morejon's going to generate a lot of strikeouts. Even if he only had one his past outing, I mean, the more he's able to get control and everything behind his pitches, I think he's going to generate a lot of strikeouts. But yeah,
absolutely. I'm okay, Devin. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm probably going to butcher his name, so I'm not going to say it. But there's a right-hander on the.
I think no clue how to say his name.
Loaiziga. I think I'm probably butchering the hell out of that name, but I don't think the Yankees give up on him. The Yankees have the best record in baseball right now. They have it for a reason. Their bullpen's strong. They have some good starting pitching right now, and Garrett Cole and Cortez and Jamison Tylan. They are just a good team right now. I didn't expect the Yankees to lead the entire MLB in wins and losses, but we'll see where that goes because I don't think they're going to be sellers. I think they're going to be buyers. They do have a couple problems on their team, unless they try to sell Joey Gallo, which sounds like it's inevitable for the Padres, but I think that's the only person that's leaving the Yankees is Joey Gallo. I don't think anyone else is. Yeah, I don't think they sell.
Yeah, we talked about. I'm gonna butcher his name too, Loaiziga. I don't know how to say it, man. We talked about him over the offseason for sure. Even if it was, I don't know if it was on here or if it was internally, but we definitely talked about him. He's interesting, but like Chase said, the Yankees are in a really good spot right now. They're a really good team. They have the pitching, they got the hitting, they got it all going for them right now. So tough to see them being sellers. I don't even see them really being buyers. I think they got everything they need. They're gonna sell Joey Gallo. I feel like that's inevitable. But yeah, man, absolutely right. We are. I really do think. I said it earlier. We are gonna go after a bullpen arm. But what's like? We got to talk about first base. I don't because that's really like essentially looking like our only weak spot right now. Like, yeah, is Hassan Kim a weak spot at short? Yes, but you got Tatis coming back, so it's like it's only a weak spot for so much longer. Luke Voigt's hitting the crap out of the ball right now. But is he going to be an everyday first baseman? No, probably not. What we've talked about it so much. What do we do with Eric Hosmer?
I think I'd proposed this in one of the last videos. I think you need to get rid of him, or just bench him. He might be up a roster spot, but the only way to keep Myers healthy is to put him at first. The only time Myers is healthy is when he was like platooning right field and DHing. But even in 2020, he was DHing more than he was playing outfield. And the only other time before that was when he was playing first base. You'd get a little bit of an upgrade if, he still knows how to play first. I don't think it goes away that quickly, the muscle memory.
Mhm.
But the other option I've heard floated around, I know we mentioned this in the offseason, Josh Bell. The Nationals are selling. They really don't have anything going for them. If we can get them to maybe eat up Hosmer's contract for some top prospects, I'm okay with it. Get Josh Bell. Then you have two power hitters. You actually have a legit power option at first base from both sides of the plate. It's just, I think that's the only option. I don't really know of another first baseman that's doing all that good that could be traded for off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Unless you guys want
Yeah.
Beatty.
No way. He's a Dodger spy. I mean, you look at Eric Hosmer, man. It started off so good for him. You look at the month of April. Let me pull up the game logs. You look at the month of April. He finished April hitting 389 with well above a Well above a 1,000 OPS. Well above it. You look at May. Still hitting 265 with a 327 on base percentage, but where the number started to go down is in slugging, where in April he had a 597 slugging percentage, and that dropped down to 327. That dropped down to 327 in May. Then you look at June, only 6 games into June, hitting 148 with a 148 on base percentage and a 222 slugging percentage. I mean, he hasn't walked all month. Strikeouts, he has 6 strikeouts through 6 games. That's not bad. I mean, it's kind of what you expect out of the modern day hitters. But everything's kind of going down right now. And you look at his fly ball rate, ability to get the ball in the air, it's just not there. He's not hitting for power. And that's kind of concerning considering. I mean, that dude is, how big is he, bro? He's 6'4", 226. I mean, come on. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but
I remember I remember what I said. The only problem is the Orioles are a cheap ass team. They don't like to take on the contract of anyone. I feel like they're scarred from Chris Davis, Trey Mancini. I love that guy. Great story. He'd fit right in San Diego. I'm pretty sure he'd love living here or love living there. He'd fit right in. Him and Luke Voigt can both split time at first and being a DH. He has power. Sure, you get rid of another lefty bat. Sure, Hosmer might have to ride the bench because I don't think any way in hell that the Orioles are okay. Thank God, someone did it for me.
I'm on the lookout.
I just can't see the Orioles eating up Hosmer's contract, no matter the top prospects they're getting. But if you give them Mancini, or if you get Mancini, you could also try to swing a deal for Austin Hayes, another guy I've been high on just because he's another nice corner outfielder, which we might not end up needing depending on how Mazzara and Myers continue to play or when Myers gets back. But yeah, the real hole right now is first base. You can't have Luke Voigt every day there because historically, when he was on the Yankees, when he was playing first base a lot, he got injured. When Hosmer's playing first base a lot, when Tatis is at short, it just never goes well. And then you also have a guy that's going to hit into a lot of double plays, a lot of ground balls to second and first. He has, I hope it's still above 3%, but it might be lower now. Eric Hosmer was like at a 3.3% launch angle for the season, which you could hit a ball like at 120 miles an hour and it's still not going to leave the infield, which I think that is a problem. So I think Trey Man's the way to go, but realistically, I don't know what you're going to have to give up to get him just because he is kind of the Orioles' pride and joy at this moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can't think of a scenario where Hosmer is gone. I do think he's just going to stick around, unfortunately. And like I said, everything's looking
Oh,
down
never
for.
mind.
What was
His
it?
launch angle is now 2.5%.
That's Eric Hosmer?
Yeah,
So it fell down.
it fell down. Yeah, it went
That's
down. I didn't think that was possible.
that's insane. I can't believe that. Yeah, I mean, you look at almost every one of his at bats, either a strikeout or a ground ball to the second baseman. That's essentially been Eric Hosmer's MO, right? But yeah, I don't really see a scenario where he's gone. You kind of just have to bank on him being around a 275 hitter and maybe a 750 plus OPS. Like he can hit for average, but where he sucks is hitting for power. And yes, are the powers numbers down across the league? Yeah. Are the power number down across the Padres? Yes. But essentially, this guy's supposed to be our power hitting first baseman. Like, oh wow.
Yeah, that's what I said right now. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's really good. Out above
That's
average, really
amazing.
good. Yeah, that is really good. Wow.
And for
Kind of surprised
comparison,
because I know he didn't have a good year last year, right? I mean, of course, he's still a good player. He's
he
always
was
been.
coming back
Yeah, from cancer.
some pretty serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In comparison,
What's
which
what's
his
it?
outs above average is about the same, but everything else
Yeah,
is like on the
falling down.
decline. I remember when all these were red.
Red.
This was
Mm-hmm.
red. I still don't know how his expected batting average is so high, but if you look at it, look at all those hits right here to second base.
Oh yeah, dude, it's a cluster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's essentially our weak spot the past couple games. Manny, I mean, bro, like I said, he's our ninth biggest worry.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
That is very interesting. I don't know. I feel like
That
Cronenworth
could
is more
work.
suited to first base. It could work. It could absolutely work.
See, I don't. But would you put Profar at second then? Because he's kind of dealt with the yips in the past. We saw that with the A's.
Yeah.
So I think first base is kind of the route to go there. That's honestly something I hadn't thought of. That's actually a really good idea.
Am I crazy to not want to move Profar?
You're not crazy. No, that's not a crazy thought at all. I think Profar is also really solid in left
Yeah,
field, but
he's doing really good.
he is the most recent outfielder to have played first.
Yes.
Unless Myers is like behind the scenes taking ground balls at first base as we speak.
I actually really like that thought about Myers. I think he does provide a lot more value at first base.
I do too, but the problem is the Padres are probably going to be like, yeah, we can't kick Eric Hosmer out of his position. He's a team leader in the dugout.
Yeah. I think what's also keeping him back is how much he gets paid. I mean, I don't know, man. Kind of tough because Myers, like, he can hit for average, but like we talk about, hitting ground balls through the holes isn't valuable all the time. Like, that's pretty much what he does. There was an interesting question up here, and it's not about Eric Hosmer. Considering how good Jerkson Profar is hitting right now out of the leadoff spot, been absolutely amazing out of the leadoff spot, consistently gets on, consistently drives in the guys at the bottom of the lineup. Where are you putting Tatis when he's back in the batting order?
Ooh, so probably 4.
I'm kind of thinking so too.
I'm thinking either 3 or 4. I like. Is Cronenworth hitting 2 right now? Cronenworth has been hitting 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think you slide him 3 or 4. Depends on who hits better out of the cleanup spot. I would probably put Tatis in 3 and then Machado 4, just because Tatis has the speed to basically score from first on almost anything. And Machado can place the ball. He's a little more widespread with his hits. He tends to go oppo a little bit more than Tatis. So probably Tatis at 3, Machado at 4.
Right. I used to be the guy that was like banging the table. I was like, no, I don't want Fernando hitting anywhere but leadoff. And then I saw Jurickson Profar start hitting leadoff. I'm like, damn, I kind of want Tatis to hit somewhere else now. And you look at also Jake Cronenworth. Jake Cronenworth, his best numbers have been out of the second spot. So it's really tough to take Jake Cronenworth out of there. Manny, I think you leave him in the third. Where did Fernando hit really well last year? Out of both the cleanup spot and the leadoff spot. Was the leadoff spot a little better for him last year? Yes. But was the fourth spot very far behind? No. So I think if you plug him in fourth, I mean, essentially he's going to be anywhere in the top 4. You can arrange it any way you want, except for Profar out of the leadoff spot. If he's not going to be batting first, he should be batting somewhere lower than fourth. But
Ninth.
Yeah, ninth, exactly.
Profar either 1st or 9th.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So, yeah, man, I really do think fourth is a great spot to put Fernando. I mean, Cron batted third last year too, but Machado's hitting great out of the third spot.
Yeah, I just Cronenworth has been killing it out of the second spot right now. I can't move him from there.
Yeah.
And especially him and Profar look at a lot of pitches. They walk a little bit more than Tatis. We just need people to get on base in front of Tatis, and I think Cronenworth at 2 is the right way to do it.
Absolutely. 36 minutes in. We only got a couple minutes left, so let us know what other questions you guys have, and we'll talk about them. But right now, this Padres team is looking. I think they look the best they have all season. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're blowing big time teams out. They're putting up a lot of runs. They're hitting home runs again. And it's not just 1 or 2 guys. It's not just Manny Machado, Eric Hosmer, and Ha-Seong Kim the way it was earlier this year. It's Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth, Jurickson Profar, Trent Grisham, Luke Voigt, multiple guys in the lineup are really contributing. But Chase, what do you got to say about the lineup, the pitching, the bullpen, biggest worry, biggest surprise, whatever it is you want to talk about?
So my biggest worry is that Myers might be out for a prolonged time, and then Mazara's luck runs out, and we're really going to miss Will Myers in right field. That also being said, if we go into the trade deadline and bring in Benintendi, they really should give Myers reps at first base and bench Eric Hosmer. I like that idea a lot. If not, I can't move Profar out of left field. I was like, as much as I want to go, move Profar to first, I can't do it right now. It's just he's been too good at left. Somebody had asked, what would your 5, 6, 7 be then? And I think you stick Void at 5, right? You probably put. It depends on who's catching. I'll put Alfaro at 6. I'll put probably Mazara because Mazara is playing right now, and then I'll put Grisham at 8.
That's really good. Yeah, I really like that. I think I would probably have to agree. I really don't think there's a wrong choice for 5, 6, 7. Voigt, I think, would be everyone's 5th spot because you're essentially just dropping him down 1. He's a really good guy to have 5th considering he can hit for power. 6th, you can have Mazara or Alfaro for right now. 7th, you'd probably have Nola if Alfaro's not catching. And then 8th, you would have Grisham. So that's really good. The last ones I see are, if we get Benintendi, where does he bat? Good question.
Let me look up how he hits with runners in scoring position real quick before I answer that question.
So while you wait for that, I'll give a little Rockies preview, I guess. I don't know if we're supposed to make an episode on it. We haven't talked about it yet, but I know the pitching. Obviously, we got Joe Musgrove on the bump. We got Mackenzie Gore. So it's Joe Musgrove against Cole, who has a 3.17 ERA. Then we got Mike Clevenger against Feltner, who has a 5.85 ERA. And then we got it's a doubleheader on Saturday. We got Gore against Freeland, who has a 4.53 ERA. And then we got Nick Martinez against German Marquez, who has a 6.49. Wow, 6.49 ERA for Marquez. That's kind of crazy. So I really do think the Padres are going to win this series. I think they win the Musgrove start. I think they win the Gore start, and I think they win the Martinez start. I think they take 3, which obviously the way the Padres are playing right now, that would be fantastic. Winning, what is it? 3-2. What is it, like? Sorry, guys, I'm trying to do some math. 8 of the last 10, I think. Great.
Right.
So, I think the Padres are going to take that one.
So for Benintendi, I'll tell you this: he hits 224 with a 3.33 on base and a 245 slugging with runners in scoring position, and 10 at bats, 11 plate appearances with runners on first and second. He has a 214 on base percentage, no hits, runners in third in 7 at bats. He has a 333, 250, 333 slugging. So I probably put him 9. Let me see. Leading off, he hits 342.
Oh shit!
Batting 9th. Yeah, he seems to be the leadoff guy for them. Batting second, batting third, he hits 368. Batting fifth, he hits 429. This isn't a small sample size this year. Let me look at last year to be a little more accurate. So first inning, 270. Oh, no, that's first inning. Batting second, 202. Batting third, 296. Batting fourth, 291. Batting fifth, 316. Batting seventh, 321. Most of his reps are between 2 and 5. Move weight down to 6 at 5 then?
I think so. I think that would be the move.
I think that also, it splits up lefty righty a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you could flip flop them if needed. You could put Voit against lefties, Benintendi against righties in that spot. But keep in mind, there are plenty of outfield options if we don't get Benintendi. Benintendi seems like Preller's top choice from what we've seen from the EVT and stuff like that. It does seem like he's I don't think he's gonna for sure become a Padre. I think Gallo will for sure become a Padre eventually, but yeah, I think that's the last question. Chase, you got anything else?
Now I just hope this team continues to play baseball like they did during the Mets series, because that was beautiful baseball to watch. It was outside the first game. Please don't play like the first game. Please play like the last 2 games. I will specify that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And they got the formula for it. Great pitching, timely hitting, guys getting hot at the right time. So they got the formula. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys soon. It was really fun talking to you guys. And go check us out on Twitter. Check out the rest of our videos, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.